So I have some big updates for you on ICE, aka Trump's Gestapo, and how they're continuing to ruin lives on a daily basis. So let's start with this one here. CNN reports that authorities arrest over 100 people on Tennessee roads in support of Trump's deportation plan. So first of all, take a look at these people who are doing this, who are arresting people casually on the road. Look at them. They say immigration and customs enforcement officers walk ahead of a bus at the DHS field office in Nashville, where multiple immigrants' rights groups gathered to protest on May 4th, 2025. So a lot of these people are like being deputized to do these things. So they're just regular schmucks who are anti-immigrant, and now they're pulling over randos and trying to ship them out of the country. All right, let me give you some more specifics. More than 100 people have been taken into custody by federal immigration officials in a joint operation with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, leaving many in Nashville's immigrant community uncertain and worried. Quote, "None of us have ever seen anything like this," Lisa Sherman Luna, executive director of the Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, said Friday. "The operation with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is a reminder of how local and state law enforcement jurisdictions are critical to President Donald Trump's plans for mass deportations." Last week, Florida officials touted a joint operation with ICE that resulted in 1,120 immigration arrests. By the way, as you all know, Florida is bringing back child labor in order to make up for the shortage in workers because they're kicking out all the immigrants. So now they want 14-year-olds working overnight shifts on a school night in order to make up for the fact that immigrants are being sent out of the country. More, they say the Highway Patrol said Friday that it made 588 stops in the joint operation with ICE, which took custody of 103 under investigation for immigration violations. The stops led to the recovery of illegal drugs and firearms, taking dangerous elements off the street and making Tennessee safer, the Highway Patrol said. One person was wanted in a killing in El Salvador. Tennessee's Governor Bill Lee recently signed a law creating a division of immigration enforcement with the state's Department of Safety and Homeland Security, which includes the Highway Patrol. He is one of a number of Republican officials pledging to use state resources to carry out Trump's plans. Meanwhile, city officials in the Democratic stronghold of Nashville have disavowed involvement and been critical of the arrests. Nashville Law Director Wally Dietz said the state-federal operation, which began May 3rd, caught everyone in city government by surprise. So again, what we're looking at here is the federal government mixed with state government people, mixed with city and local government people. They're deputizing people. So yeah, go round up some immigrants, bro. Go round up some immigrants. And now they're pulling people over on the road and trying to ship them out of the country. Now, of course, they have their narrative around that where they lie and they're like, oh, bro, it's based on how they're driving and stuff, bro. That's what it's based on. But it's not based on that at all. They're literally looking for brown people and then pulling them over and then hoping they can deport them. That's what's happening here. How's this for dark? ICE abducted a father in California and left his kids in his truck. A man pulled up to the gas station at approximately 9:30 a.m. on Sunday to fill up his truck. Several cars, including a Ford Explorer and Toyota Tacoma, then surrounded the man. There were at least 6 cars. There were a lot of cars. Conscious recalled in a video posted by 805 UnDocuFund on Instagram. The man was taken by ICE agents, and his children were left behind. They arrested someone. They left the children inside the truck. That's great. That's really great. That's really moral, really ethical. I'm sure it's perfectly legal. We also have videos now. This is an ICE agent slamming a young woman during an arrest in a neighborhood raid. Here we go.
Oh, they're taking her baby or something.
They're taking her baby. They're taking her baby. So one of the city councilors defended the constituents from the police. City councilor, there was no reason that woman had to be banged on the floor. When I turned around, she was on the ground. She didn't get there by herself, sir. She was put down. Wow. So assaulting women, taking babies, taking adults and leaving the kids in the car. We also have this. Your U.S. government has kidnapped this child. Not family separation, kidnapping. It took a 2-year-old child from her parents, deported the mom to Venezuela, and have imprisoned the dad in a Salvadoran torture prison without charge or trial. Every day, new evil level reached. And that's exactly right. So this family was absolutely destroyed. This family was destroyed. Every day, we get a new horror story. Whether it's the 19-year-old Venezuelan gay makeup artist who was sent to the concentration camp in El Salvador with no trial, or that young man who had a autism awareness tattoo for his 15-year-old brother who he helps take care of, who was sent to the concentration camp with no trial, or Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was sent and then the regime admitted that it was a mistake, but Trump doubled down on it because he learned from Roy Cohn, the mafia lawyer, you never admit fault, you never say you're wrong, you never apologize, you just plow ahead. The 75 to 90% of the 288 people that were sent to the concentration camp in El Salvador having no criminal record whatsoever. I guarantee you guys, we're only getting a fraction of the horror stories here. A fraction. Because as we know, Trump said, minimum 1,200 deportations a day. And as I always say, you blow through the violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants within the first week. They're gone. They're gone. And so then who do you go for? You go for kids, like that child with cancer, 4-year-old with cancer who they deported, who's an American citizen, by the way. And so, you know, they're wrong. And every single thing they're doing here is illegal and unethical and immoral. But the courts are playing catch up and they're saying you can't do that. And they just keep doing it. They just keep doing it. It is time to start locking people up, right? It is time to start enforcing these court orders. One idea is that you can fine the people doing the legwork. You can freeze their bank accounts. I think every court should start doing that to the ICE officials who are violating the law on a daily basis here. Every single one of them should get massive fines and have their bank accounts frozen, because that's something, by the way, Trump has no recourse on that. There's nothing he can do. If you try to criminally arrest some of the people doing this, he does have recourse. He does have recourse. But if the arrests happen at the state level, then he doesn't have recourse, but it'll also probably be tough crimes to prove in a state court. So the best path forward is probably civil enforcement, where you freeze their bank accounts and you make it so that if you're doing the illegal, unconstitutional, dirty work of the regime and you're an ICE official or you're in Department of Homeland Security, your life is going to be ruined. And so this makes it so that when an illegal order comes from the top down, they go, I got to find a different job because this one, I'm going to lose everything if I continue to be your Gestapo, if I continue to be your thug. All right, then let me give you this. The Biden administration put in place policies to limit negative impacts of detention on pregnant women, infants, and the elderly. Things like welfare checks and providing pregnant women space to sit so they don't have to stand for long periods of time. Trump just revoked those policies because fucking of course he did. Because of course he did. If you're not calling this fascism, you're just wrong. I mean, that's what this is. That's what this is. And the undesirables are clearly the immigrant community. But it ain't all immigrants, because as you know, Trump is welcoming white South Africans into the country with open arms. So as I always say, what's the connecting tissue of the people that he wants to crack down on? It's a tough one. Because a lot of them include American citizens like 4-year-olds with cancer, but they happen to be brown. They happen to be brown. So more absolute horror stories that we're talking about here. We're talking about assaulting women. We're talking about stealing babies. And the list keeps growing of these absolute nightmares. We cannot allow these crimes to stand, because the precedent that's being set is one that absolutely destroys this country forever if we don't hold people accountable. That's what I need you to understand. It needs to be a litmus test on the Democratic side that the criminals will be prosecuted when Democrats get back in power. It has to be a litmus test. If they try the Obama thing, we look forward, we don't look backward. If they do that, then kiss this country goodbye forever. There's no getting back to sanity. There's no getting back to reason. There's no getting back to having due process and habeas corpus. That's the other thing, is now they're talking about, oh, the president wants to get rid of habeas corpus. Okay, what that means is you don't have a right to see a judge anymore. If they detain you, you have no right to see a judge. Okay, well, then that's it. You know, and I see a bunch of idiots like Tommy Lauren is out there like, oh, but it's only for illegals, so people have nothing to worry about. You jackass, if you take away habeas corpus, then it applies to citizens too, because all they have to do is say, no, this person's not a citizen, they're an undocumented immigrant, and then you're cooked. And then you're cooked. So if immigrants lose their rights, then we all lose our rights. Because once habeas corpus is gone, they could just say whatever they want and lock you up, and you can't prove the opposite is true because you don't get a hearing. So everybody needs to have their head screwed on right about this and needs to be clear about the danger, because it's as bad as anybody thought it could ever get, and we're only a little over 100 days in. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.